In 1979, when sugarcane fields covered this area, Anita Touche was found murdered with over 70 lacerations. In the years since, this case has gone ice cold. However, with a possible break, Anita's family might finally be getting the answers they deserve. While the future of tariffs remain uncertain, local car dealerships are bracing for change, hoping policymakers provide stability during this time. The Louisiana ACLU and other legal groups are preparing to challenge the law, claiming it violates children's rights. Meanwhile, supporters are saying they'll push for even tougher measures. Bailey Liebert, Acadiana, News 1. Thanks, Britt. State police troopers are urging people to avoid travel and stay off the roads unless it's absolutely necessary. Roadway conditions, especially bridges and overpasses, tend to decline quickly during these weather events. If travel is unavoidable, motorists should follow these safety tips.
You don't hear about things like that around here, It's just not a common occurrence.
In 1979, when sugarcane fields covered this area, Anita Touche was found murdered with over 70 lacerations. In the years since, this case has gone ice cold. However, with a possible break, Anita's family might finally be getting the answers they deserve. Detective Chad Tuchet with the Vermilion Parish Sheriff's Office has been working the case for years. Despite sharing a last name, he is not related to Anita. However, solving her murder is personal.
The last string I'm on is another person who she was associating with that night, was a visitor to the area.
Anita was last seen on the night of December 1st, 1979, after leaving a bar with friends in Abbeville. Her body was found 2 days later in a ditch outside Erath, stabbed or cut more than 70 times. The discovery started with a single clue, Anita's purse, found by a local farmer coming home from a hunting trip.
I thought someone had stolen the purse and just dumped it in the field. Who would think of looking for somebody's stolen purse in a field? So I wasn't really worried. And then, Lord, when we found out and they found her body over there, it was like, oh my God.
Detectives used a helicopter to search the area, finding Anita's body unclothed with her items tossed around her.
She left from there with somebody she knew.
For Anita's daughter, Dodie Touchet, the pain of growing up without any answers is something she's had to cope with her whole life.
I would be in daycare and I remember crying out, "Where's my mom?" And like the daycare's son would tell me, "Your mom's never coming back. She's not coming back." Quit asking that question. So I think over the years, I just kind of realized something was missing.
Detectives now have one final DNA sample they're testing, a possible familial match to a man Anita may have been seeing at the time.
If it comes back, it's not a match, even familial, then that's the end.
If you have any information on Anita Touchet's case, you can call the Abbeville Police Department at 337-893-2511. In Abbeville, Bailey Liebert, Acadiana, News 1. Should more teens be tried as adults? Amendment 3 expands the list of crimes that could land juveniles in adult court.
Charging a juvenile as an adult, it's not going to change their behavior. It just increases the likelihood of them going to a big boy prison versus being treated as a juvenile like they are presently.
The proposed constitutional amendment, one of 4, which voters will support or reject on March 29th.
If the people vote yes for that measure, then I suppose the next step would be for the legislature to begin that process of determining what crimes they want to expand into the adult realm for juveniles.
Has sparked controversy. Supporters like some law enforcement professionals argue the change is necessary to crack down on an increase in juvenile crime rates. Lieutenant LaCarol Johnson has over a decade of experience in protecting and serving the community.
It was never this level of actual crime done by juveniles, like the murders and the robberies. So this may be an avenue that they're trying to follow just to kind of get some kind of order.
But opponents warn against charging and trying more minors as adults, and advocate for the continued purpose of juvenile courts to focus on rehabilitation, while adult prisons emphasize punishment, something attorneys like Lafayette defense attorney Jordan Precht say could make things worse.
A lot of kids, they operate on their circumstances and they don't know better, they're not taught better. If a juvenile is housed with an adult, they're probably going to be scared.
If the law takes effect, local jails may also feel the impact.
The housing would be compromised a lot because the population would go up tremendously.
So what happens next? Assistant District Attorney James Clark says if Amendment 3 holds up, Louisiana lawmakers, not voters, will decide which additional crimes can lead to juveniles being tried as adults.
They're making a decision as to whether or not they want to remain involved in the process or leave it up to the elected representatives in the legislature. That's it. It's a choice on, do you want to be involved or do you want to just let those representatives make the decision on your behalf?
The Louisiana ACLU and other legal groups are preparing to challenge the law, claiming it violates children's rights. Meanwhile, supporters are saying they'll push for even tougher measures. President Trump has imposed a 10% tariff on goods from China and has proposed a 25% tariff on goods from Canada and Mexico. Local used car dealerships are bracing for potential price hikes and inventory challenges as these new tariffs on imported auto parts take effect. Sean Inglesby, the owner and operator of Used Car Factory in Lafayette, is expecting change in his industry.
Parts that we use to repair our vehicles are produced in Canada and in Mexico, as well as some of the aftermarket items that we order on Amazon that come directly from China. So those will obviously go up.
Certain auto parts and certain car brands may be more susceptible to price hikes.
Batteries are very Mexico-oriented and alternators are Canada and Mexico. Some of the cars that GM produces are actually built in Mexico and Canada and shipped here.
While Inglesby hopes to avoid imposing price increases on the customer base, he fears it might be unavoidable.
If we pay $10,000 for a car today and because of tariffs it's $10,250, well then we have to sell it for $250 more. So ultimately the customer is going to have to pay.
While the future of tariffs remain uncertain, local car dealerships are bracing for change, hoping policymakers provide stability during this time. Behind me, you might be able to hear the sounds of worship as the Mount Triumph Baptist Church celebrates its 130th anniversary. Let's take a look inside. The church celebrated the momentous occasion by a service filled with prayer, song, and remembrance. Reverend Willie Williams Jr. says Mount Triumph holds true to its name with a history of perseverance.
We were founded in 1895. In the late 1920s, the church was burned after a lightning strike.
After going through 2 rebuilds, the current church was built in 1972. Mount Triumph's mission is to serve its congregation with a variety of ministries.
We now have services for those who are dealing with grief, those who are dealing with addiction, as well as other social services to go along with our many services to save the souls and to help the souls get to God.
Reverend Williams thanks God for all the church has done and will continue to do.
We want to thank God for blessing the church that these doors have continuously remained open for 130 years.
The church has been here and the church will be here. It's just like when we serve God. God does not leave us. We leave God. But when we come to ourselves, we begin to realize that God never went anywhere. He's exactly the same place that we left him.
The Mount Triumph Baptist Church is looking forward to 130 more successful years. In Abbeville, Bailey Liebert, KLFY News 10.
And staying in the Christmas spirit, thank you, Lainey. Today, Opelousas city officials handed out gifts and toys to families in need. News 10's Bailey Liebert followed the group while they spread holiday cheer.
We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
For the 13th year, Opelousas city officials, along with MedExpress, moved from neighborhood to neighborhood delivering gifts to families in need in true Santa Claus fashion.
We let the schools pick a family, and we give a family a Christmas, a family that probably wouldn't have had a Christmas. It's all about giving back.
With gifts and toys handed out to about 20 families all over Opelousas, children and adults alike were overcome with joy.
Well, I use myself as an example because I can remember when I was a kid, and I can remember families doing for me and my brothers and sisters. So I thank God that we had people that had hearts to give back to us. So I feel that God wants us to do that, give it back. So this is why we do it. It's a passion for me, and I know the people that's out here doing it, they love seeing the smiles on the people's face as well.
Alderman Richard says this event is something that brings the Opelousas community together every year for the holidays.
Thank everyone that stepped to the plate every year to do this in this community. And we want to keep showing positive things in our community, because there's a lot of things that we can talk about. But this right here, this is what we call unified. And I want to just say this. We got to continue loving one another, because this is what it's all about, loving and caring. And God bless our community.
Opelousas city officials plan to keep this tradition alive for many more years to come. In Opelousas, Bailey Liebert, KLFY News 10.